Hey y'all, welcome back to the DIY Entrepreneurs Reaction Show. I'm so glad you decided to tune in with me today. Go ahead and hit that like button and become a subscriber to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. I would really appreciate that. Today we're going to be reacting to a flashback pitch on the Shark Tank. And this company is called Scan.me. And listen, after the pitch, we're going to give an update or some things that has happened with this company since they aired on the Shark Tank. So stay tuned.
Next up is an entrepreneur who started his business in his college dorm room with a big vision for the future.
Hi Sharks, my name is Garrett G, and my company is Scan. I'm here seeking an investment of $1 million for 5% of my company.
1 mil.
Now Sharks, before you grill me with your questions, I have a question for you. How often in your day-to-day lives do you see one of these scannable codes? They're everywhere. At Scan, we developed a mobile app which is the easiest way to scan and interact with any of these codes. Let me show you how. So first, I'm going to scan the barcode from this camera's packaging. It's as easy as, and that quickly, my app just did a price check showing me how I can save $25. Next, I'm going to scan the QR code from the tag of this Mission Belt. Damon, have you heard of this company before?
Yes, Mission Belt, great company.
Then you're going to love this. They, using our website, created their own custom code. They can link to their website, their YouTube channel for a video. Do you want somebody to actually be able to purchase a product? Or, as you see here, their Twitter. So in one tap, that easily, I just followed them on Twitter. How cool is that? This all started just 2 years ago. Together with two of my classmates, we set out on a mission to connect the real world with the digital universe. We are still young and foolish enough to believe that we can change the world from our college dorm room. So Sharks, which of you is still young and foolish enough to take a chance on us?
I love going back to these earlier pitches. One, my initial reaction, and given what we know of our experience with the Shark Tank these days, I think that this will be a great product for Robert or Kevin. This is technology. This was back in 2013. And so the whole scanning and barcoding being conformed into a digital format, that was all new. So them hearing this pitch is still relatively new. Of course, it's a normal thing today, but it's still relatively new. And so let's just check it out and see how this pitch is going to end.
Garrett, what do you have today? What's built?
We have our mobile app, which is available in the App Store, iPhone, iPad, iPod, Android devices, and Windows.
Is it free?
When we started, we were focusing on growing our user base. And so we started with a free app, kept it very simple. It grew like crazy. And over time, as the company has grown, we've started to introduce better features that users can pay for.
What's the most common application that the enterprises, the businesses, are doing on the site with the
I love
application?
these questions.
A lot of people are going for the simple choices to begin with. They're saying, here's our QR code and it links to our Facebook page so you can like us, or it links to our Instagram. Very easy stuff. I create a QR code that links to the actual product and its price. So now I don't just scan this belt and get more information. I can scan this belt and purchase it in one tap.
How many active users does it have?
Actually, let me check. I don't want to tell you wrong. All right, so here is a live ticker showing people downloading our app. We get about a little more than 1 a second.
51 million downloads?
It doesn't say anything. How many scans do you have a day?
I can tell you that last month, there were 27 million people who took out our app and scanned it.
27
Do you have any
million
competition
people.
for this?
This wasn't like the newest, best idea. But when I looked at the other competition, I didn't see anybody executing on it how I felt it needed to be executed.
Garrett, what does it do better?
One mistake that a lot of our competition have made is they kind of built half of the table. They didn't build the full 360 experience like we did. Because people can go to our website and create codes, and people can use our own app, we're the entire space.
How do you make money with this?
That's why I'm here. We're just now starting to focus more and more on monetization. The plan is to keep a lot of the user side of things completely free. And then for businesses, they can come, choose what type of code they want to create, pay a monthly fee to host that code and keep it live and working.
Has there been monetization up until this point?
Not on the live website. If you went to our website right now, you would not see...
Have you made any money today?
So we've made about $30,000 a month for the last few months by reaching out to a few of our big companies that have already been using our product and say, we want to choose you as a beta customer.
And they're paying you for the beta?
Correct.
Of course, you can see the sharks are way more interested in the value as far as the money. But as he said, that this company is in its startup phase at this point and it's pre-revenue. Well, he just said the last few months, he's been getting a good 30K every few months. And so I'm thinking, what, 90K? But still, in a sense, pre-revenue. And that's his purpose. That's why he stated that's his purpose of being in the tank. He wants to take it on a larger scale and monetize some of the features that he know that they have a plan to incorporate into this app. Again, 2013, this was fairly new to everyone. And so let's see how it pans out. It don't look like the sharks
Are you concerned that QR codes are becoming dodo birds? What's the future? Because, I mean, I can make an argument that QR codes are gone.
Can I show you?
Interesting.
I'm going to show you something special we've been working on. So, I received a package just the other day from Google. So this is Google Glass. Okay, Glass, scan this QR code. That easily I can interact with the digital world.
So that's it. That's what you did there. Like, all you showed me there as a tech guy was just another hardware platform.
But Google sent this to you to do what?
To start implementing our scanning technology on both the business side and the user side into their hardware.
Not impressed. Not impressed.
Interesting.
I'm impressed by the
Mark.
51 million downloads and your use. That's great, right? But you're not telling me you're doing anything unique. You've got a platform, Google Goggles. They have a developers program. There's going to be other people doing scannables. You haven't said what it is that you're doing that differentiates you from any of the many. You know, are you doing something better with software? Are you better integration with third parties? Is your API easier?
The things you were talking.
So the questions that Mark is asking is very techy, you know, but from a very surface level of what he has explained so far, what we've seen he's explained in the Shark Tank, it's still new. He has a new idea. He has a new way that these QR codes could be generatable. It can generate more things. And that's what he's saying. Right now, it's just very simple, or back then, it was very simple usage, right? And Mark made a comment. He said, are you concerned that QR codes are just going away? It's so interesting to hear that now in 2022. That Mark Cuban has said that, because of course we see what the advantage of having a QR code can mean for your business, for your website, and all that other good stuff. And so just to hear the thoughts of what they thought beforehand is pretty interesting as well. But I think he's doing a great job at explaining himself and just sharing why he's there in a tank and what this opportunity could mean for him in the company. He is asking for a penny though, and that's probably why the sharks are just kind of like laid back, like, I'm not giving you $1 million for 5% of this company because you could scan a code. Like, codes are made to be scanned. This is their level of thinking, maybe, you know, I'm just saying. But this may have been their level of thinking initially when he introduced it in this tank. So let's continue.
About, like, our API was easier to work with. The scan was just that much faster. The design was just that much more simple and beautiful. It was very small things that people don't think they care about. So when we went out against a huge competition, we were able to rise to the top.
How much money has been invested in your company over the last 2 years?
When we were 6 months into the business, we had already passed 1 million downloads. We started to hear from investors. To be honest, I didn't know a lot about investors. And where did I learn so much of the stuff initially? From Shark Tank. And when Google Ventures wanted to meet with us, I was like in Shark Tank mode, and I said, I'm looking for this much money, and I want this, deal or no deal. And they looked at me and said, that's not how this works. But I learned from that experience, and I kept going at it. So total, we've raised $8.7 million.
We're going to look at his the raising.
8.7 raised already. Why are you exactly here? Is it just for exposure?
No, definitely not. Every time we've involved somebody, we give somebody this much of the business and they deliver us this much value.
I believe the carpet is there for those who desperately need help. The banks turned them down, they've lost a lot, or they don't have any hope. I don't think you need the money. I'm out.
That's not fair, Damon. That ain't fair at all.
I think you are amazing. You obviously are brilliant. But I am not the best person sitting here to help you in this technical arena. So for that reason, I'm going out.
Y'all think Mark or
It hurts
Robert?
every time.
They thinking.
Garrett, I got to tell you, we've never had somebody ask for $1 million in flip-flops. So that's cool. Look, there's no doubting the downloads. Unbelievably impressive. But there's nothing proprietary, and I worry about the competition as it grows.
Y'all think his attire in the tank led to what Robert is about to say now? Because I remember when it first came on, they did pan down to his flip-flops. And then he got a hoodie on with a couple of t-shirts. And he is really ultrally comfortable in the tank. And this is in the earlier years. You know, right now I think people have just become to dress based on how their company culture is. So it's interesting that he made that point. He is in a tank seeking $1 million. And he does have on very leisure wear. Y'all think that contributed to whatever is about to happen? Let's see.
For that reason, I'm out.
Your valuation is $20 million for a business that actually doesn't have yet a business model that is recurring. So the leap of faith for any shark
No cash flow.
is just risk tolerance, I think. That's it. I can't make that leap of faith.
Technology company.
Show me the money, not the downloads. I'm out.
He said not to download.
I've noticed the pattern. As I've been meeting with investors, there have been those that look at me and those who look at my numbers. There's the investors that think there's a perfect recipe to success every time. I don't believe in that. I believe to do something truly amazing, there's got to be a little bit of crazy, a little bit of foolish.
You're giving me a lot of visions, but you're not giving me a lot of realities. I'm a big fan of the sensor business. I think that's the future of technology. The fundamental problem that I have is scans versus sensors. In a sensor-driven world, the information is accumulated and gathered everywhere with no action by the user. Whereas in your world, whether it's Google Glasses where you have to talk, whether you have to take your phone and scan, in a sensor-driven world, these don't exist. So for that reason, I'm out.
I think with that statement, Mark was way ahead of the curve. And of course, we know he billionaire status, so he probably got deals and projects in the pipeline that we ain't even heard about yet. But even in this statement here, it speaks more to the virtual reality or to the metaverse and in the places where we're going now here in 2022. Again, this was in 2013. And so there was a large gap in between there where this technology is usable. And I mean, we see it now in practice in the businesses today. And so the statement that he made just helps. It makes me think that he's just in his lab back at wherever his headquarters is. And he's thinking about the projects that they're doing for today. And he didn't give credit to this young man's vision and his hope in building a company around this technology specifically back in 2013. So that gives me a little bit of information as to where Mark could have been thinking, why he didn't jump in on this deal.
Thank you very much for all of your time.
Very impressive, Gary.
Very impressive.
Oh, I didn't know Robert went out already.
Thanks, Kurt. Look what Shark Tank is producing.
Okay, so we see in the final end that Scan did not get a deal in the Shark Tank. And I do just want to go ahead because I do have an update on just some things that has happened over the years, really immediately after his visit to the Shark Tank. So nothing, he ended up selling the business. It got acquired by Snapchat. And we're going to look at a couple of those articles. But I want to go ahead and look at his feedback before I go into the articles of where it went now. So let's just take a step back.
Producing kids like that, amazing, right?
Yeah, it's very
Amazing.
impressive.
I'm scared.
Brilliant
I
guy.
am. I'm
Now,
very, very proud.
I
of him.
want a royalty.
Investing in our company, and especially in us young guys that are running this company, is definitely a big leap of faith. But that's the part I like about it. That's the beauty of entrepreneurship at its best.
Yes. I love his attitude, and I think that's the real heart of an entrepreneur. You know, don't try to do the things that's already been done. You're not mimicking anything that someone else has done. You're taking your pure thoughts, your ideas, and you're just putting some action to it to see what will happen. And hopefully it's a risk that will turn a profit. That's what entrepreneurship is, right? So you already heard me say that Scan ended up being acquired by Snapchat, and you know that Snapchat integrates that technology within their platform with the QR codes, with the Snapchat codes, and really you could really do a lot of things with the QR codes that they've been doing. So let's take a look at some of the articles. This was one that I ran into with him and his team. So evidently there was a competition, and they entered the competition with his Scan company. It says Gary G of Scan is disrupting the crowded QR codes market with innovative app designs and $1.7 million in seed funding. And so that was definitely a success, of course. And I'll just read the first paragraph of this article. It's found on Inc.com. In just a little bit, when he was quoted, he said, I was basically told by my family that as long as I was getting good grades and doing well in soccer, I didn't need to work. And so, of course, it sounds like he came from some money. So Scan, more or less, is my first ever job. After receiving $1.7 million in seed funding in late February, and this was in 2013, I want to say. It doesn't have a date here that I could see real quickly. After receiving $1.7 million in seed funding in late February, it seems as if G's foray into workforce is off to a pretty good start. And then you see his picture here with his team that was in a competition that introduced this technology. And then you see that Scan makes an exit thanks to Snapchat. So this was the deal that was done back in 2014, again, when he appeared on a Shark Tank. That episode aired in 2013. And then in 2014, we have this article here by domain.me, where it says, apparently Snapchat acquired this QR scanning startup that makes good use of iBeacon technology for $14 million in cash, $3 million in restricted stock units, and $33 million in Class B common Snapchat stock. And so they still hold on to stock. Well, I don't know if they still hold on to it, but they were able to get stock in Snapchat, and we understand how successful Snapchat is today. And so that was just details about the acquisition that they were able to get. I like to go to the numbers sometime and just track the progression of fundraising that a company does. And I know this is cut off on your view, so I'll just read. It goes from bottom up. And so the last one here is the seed round. His first seed round, he ended up raising $1.66 million. That was in 2012. And so that was before Shark Tank. And then it says his second early stage VC round, he raised $8.16 million. He had a goal of $6.5 million to raise with that round, and ended up, this was his product development round, and ended up raising $8.16 million for that. We don't have details about the third round. And then we see in a fourth round that he was acquired for $50 million. $50 million. I just think that deserved a repeat for this young man. Where's his picture again? This young man that came into the Shark Tank with flip-flops, with 2 t-shirts. It looks like he has 2 t-shirts on. It looks like that's his thing. He just wear 2 t-shirts and a hoodie. He came into the tank asking for $1 million and 5% of his company. He ended up a year later selling the company for $50 million to Snapchat. And not only he sold the company, but he still got some stock, or he had stock into Snapchat, which is wildly successful, right? And so kudos to Mr. Garrett G. For taking a company and believing in his mission and his vision. Even as young as he was, he may have been intimidated or whatever the case may have been in front of those sharks. And then to hear every one of them go out when he know that he has good ideas for this technology, I think that's phenomenal. And then to end up being acquired by one of the largest platforms in social media, I think that is just a blessing to him and his family. Now, last but not least, the things that Gary G is doing, him and his family is doing now. The latest thing I found on him was a bucketlistfamily.com website. Let's go to the about page and see what this is. So this is him and his family, it looks like. And it's just a website where he shares his traveling experiences with him and his family. It seems like they're checking out some things to do on their bucket list. And so all the great continued success to Garrett and his family. And I'm so happy that he stuck with it. And I think it's a testament to us entrepreneurs who are continually looking and fundraising and doing things in order to get our vision manifested. And so kudos to him. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and staying until the end. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you think about the update here on this flashback episode of Scan and the acquisition that he was able to get for $50 million on Snapchat. Let us know what your thoughts on this pitch is in the comments. And if you know any other information that they went through, let us know in the comments to keep us updated on the things that they're doing. All right. Again, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like button and become a subscriber if you like this content. And make sure you check us out for the next ones.